Welcome back, baseball fans, to this eliminating the New York Yankees video from the 72-75 carryover league. They had a horrible year. They went 9-18. By comparison, last year, the 71-74 season, they went 25-18. A net differential of negative 16 games in a small sample size. It's because statistically they were just bad in most categories. We'll start with the good, I guess. Gene Locklear was an addition for the 75 card, but he was only a halftime player, 339. We also had Chris Chambliss getting acquired from Cleveland, hit 278. Went to the All-Star game because everybody else was awful, pretty much. 254 for Roy White, third best average, and then it gets worse. Maddox's great 74 card was incredibly mediocre. Mercer, 250. Munson, 231. Greg Nettles, 216. 2 homers will give you a team lead in that category. Bobby Mercer did walk 18 times, struck out just 8. That's nice. 243 average, 307 on base. In a down year, baseball in 72 was kind of a down year offensively, but it doesn't make up. It's only one of the 4 components of your team. 8 of the 20 cards, at least, though. Pitching, great bullpen work out of Luke Walker they brought in. You know, Lenny McDaniel's still doing quality work with Fred Bean and Sparky Lyle, but Stottlemyre was good enough. 2 and 5. Terrible support behind him, which is a shame. Mike Kekich, they'll be a little bit glad to get rid of him. McAndrew, kind of mediocre. Just bleh, you know what to say. I don't know where this is going to go with the Yankees until Reggie shows up in a few years, but that's going to take its time. We're not close to that 76 Yankee World Series team yet, though that's around the corner, at least the first year of that. Now, you got to keep in mind, too, Boston's 75 World Series team is just getting started with Fred Lynn and Cecil Cooper added to that squad. So the Yankees still... Next year, they're probably going to be vastly improved. But let's take a look at the Yankees now and the 12 players who will be coming back next year. It begins with this very exciting Gene Locklear card, who they're optimizing because this was with the Padres. And Locklear kind of faded with the Yankees in one season, so this is a bonus. Also trade bait, I might want to add. As is another Padre trade bait, Fred Kendall, because you got Munson. You got 2 catchers with, this was a full season for Kendall. He wasn't a utility catcher. He was a full player with a 282 average. I'd trade him, get some assets. I know Steinbrenner's going to take over this team. He'd move on from Locklear and Kendall and start building that Yankee dynasty. Here's Munson, and arguably his best card, with a -3 arm and the 20 home runs and the 300 average. Does it all. 76, he gets the MVP, but the arm is not as good then. I don't think the power is there as well. This Chambliss card was the All-Star. It's very good, particularly against righties, which is where you want it. And he's got the power there, too, even though he only hit 9 home runs for a first baseman in Yankee Stadium. That's not good, but it was good enough for the Yankees for a while, for the World Series years. Then he moved on from him. Sandy Alomar came across from the Angels to the Yankees. And the thing is, they're not going to... Well, they might get Randolph. Randolph was a shrewd trade they made. But in the carryover league, in the fall league timeline, he was not protected. And an expansion team, Las Vegas, drafted him. Drafted a young Randolph out of the Yankee organization because you can't keep all your stars. The Oakland A's and their present dynasty are finding the same situation. Here's Stick Michael. You know what's really cool about this Stick card? It's 74. That's the highest batting average in 70. So it was pretty cool because he said, hey, let's be a utility guy instead of a shortstop. And that kept him on the bench more. He's very symmetrical for a 260 hitter. Very reasonable player, frankly. And he didn't have a great range either in 70 and beyond. He was like a 3. Maybe he was a 2 in 70, but he's still a 3. So this is pretty opportunistic. We'll have this card for 2 more years. Roy White just, I don't know what happened to his defense. It kind of comes and goes. He went from a 2 to a 3 to a 4. I think he'll return to a 3 maybe next year, the year beyond. The arm is always awful, but we love the on-base machine here. Tons of walks, power. 275, 7 homers, and 74. This is the MVP card of Elliot Maddox. Top 10 MVP votes in 1974. Yep, not kidding, folks. It's a nice card, 303. Not a lot of run production. Good base runner, not a good base stealer. But it's the defense. He's a 1-3 in center and right. And if you want to waste that and have him fill in at second and third base in a pinch, you can, I suppose. So that's 8 hitters that are coming back, for better or for worse. They just have to get out of that slump, you'd figure, right? You're only bringing 4 pitchers back. Here's Strat-O-Matic, really pitched effectively. It's just that his team didn't support him. 2.76 ERA with a 3.07 ERA card. You see the 1-loss record there as well in 73, 16-16. So, kind of reflected a little bit here with a mediocre team, or worse. Doc Medish, here's a great card for him. Really dominates those righties as a starter. On their 3 days rest, we might want to add. 2.91 ERA. And as far as him versus lefties, we like the fly ball the rest there to make up for the on bases over there. For Yankee Stadium, you got to live with a pitcher like this, and frankly, the domination over there is pretty darn good for Doc. We can move him up to the 2 spot in the rotation that Fritz Peterson once had. Here's a extremely versatile, one of the most versatile pitchers in the sport. Lenny McDaniel's a relief 4, starter 8. How often do you see that? And this is with the Yankees. It eventually goes to Kansas City, I think. 12-6, 281 ERA, 160 innings. So you know he had a chunk of starts in there. And an outstanding Fred Bean card. Have this for 1 more year? Yeah, 1 more year coming up. Yeah. Plus, we know Sparky Lau will be one of the guys they're going to keep. So really, I mean, you can see the potential here for the Yankees to do a big turnaround in Steinbrenner's first year, 73-76. Start getting the resemblance of a team that can at least compete for a World Series versus a team with a .333 winning percentage, which is what we finished with. So let's take a look at the 8 other Yankees and see who they keep, waive, and retire. All right, we're going to take a look at the 8 players that are coming or going from the Yankees, beginning with Bernie Allen. He's been a fun player. We've had him in every season of our carryover league that we started broadcasting since 2020. Was with Texas Rangers, Washington Senators, went to the Yankees. And we continued that path, actually. You see Washington Senators and New York Yankees. So we followed him along with his career as a interesting second, third baseman, left-handed bat with some power at least, not batting average necessarily. 72 seasons, still got a 686 OPS with the power. 9 advantageously placed home runs on his card. 73 would be his final season with a 206 average and 118 plate appearances. Not a candidate to be kept. We want to waive him, or we want to put him on retirement. We can only waive him if he's got a card in the year of 73. So we'll have to go to the Super D's roster page of 1973 and see if there's a Bernie Allen card. I think there's 2 squads here, Yankees and Expos. I think him and Felipe Alou were traded together, I want to guess. Yankees, Bernie Allen in the infield here. Not there. Extra players. Not there. Expos, do you have a Bernie Allen with you guys? Nope, not there. Not there. Are you an extra player? Oh, he's not. So it's funny, but the Yankees and the Expos shared Felipe Alou and Bernie Allen. Bernie's career is officially over. Thank you, Bernie Allen. That was a lot of fun. We're going to go over to the Yankee roster page. And we're going to plug in, actually we could zoom this too. Let's zoom this for your viewing pleasure, folks. So what we do is we put in the This column is if you want to keep a guy. This column, do you want to put him on waivers? This guy, do you want to retire him? And in the case of Bernie Allen, we are going to retire him. So we put 1 unit or $1, 1 token there. By the way, in this column over here, it shows the year and the player number within that year. So all these 72s you see, there's going to be 8 of them. These are the ones we're going to evaluate. So Bernie Allen is retired. All right, next on the list, hey, it's Bobby Mercer. Well, this is a no-brainer. He's a keeper. But let's go take a peek and see which one we're going to keep. We know Mercer's coming back to the Yankees. That's a no-brainer here. It's still early in the 70s. So Bobby, but he just loses out on 2 amazing years, and now he's going to go to Shea Stadium. So we had 71 season, 969. We had 72 season with 33 homers, 898. Now next year we'll have our choice of 73, 4, 5, or 6. We could theoretically move him to the Giants, though I would strongly not recommend that. Look, he's 304, 821 in the 73 card and has MVP votes and an All-Star. So for now he's a keeper. And probably that's going to be the high water mark until that could be the best year left. So last year I'll hit 300. So yeah, that's definitely the keeper card of Bobby Mercer. So we'll go into column 1 and give him 10,000 bucks to come back, or 10,000 tokens. Next player will be Greg Nettles. Obviously coming back. And this will be one of the first building blocks for the World Series team, particularly his performance, as you'll see, in 76. We can skip right to it. So the plan was to hold on to the 72 card because with Cleveland he has better defense than he would in these years. But in 76, here's the number here, 32. Leads the American League for a third baseman in home runs. Something Mike Schmidt would do in the National League. But in the American League, that's a high home run total for a third baseman. The other weird thing about that card, though, he's like the 8th best hitter on the Yankees that year, batting average-wise. And the OPS, it's a modest 802. 16th on MVP lists for a home run leader. For a league home run leader, 16th on the MVP list. Down year for home runs, down year for offense, 76 anyway. And he's 31. But we know what happens shortly thereafter. So this is the card the Yankees are going to move into, I like to say. It's like a house. Which Greg Nettles house are you going to buy? Let's buy the 76 house. Okay, next player is Ron Swoboda, and I think we're at the end for Ron. Ron, I'm going to get you on a Swoboda China. I'm going to get you on a Swoboda China. Pardon me, folks. It's my last chance to do that in this timeline, I think. Yeah. So 73, that card's not going to exist. 47 at-bats at 116. I'll just double check. Make sure he doesn't exist with the Yankees. Wouldn't want to put a player who's not that good on the waiver wire anyway, just because we want the waiver wire to be useful. And I can't be putting 116 hitters on it. So we're going to retire Ron Swoboda. By the way, what was the gap between average and on base? Probably still reasonable, right? Yep, 81 points. Would still be a fun card to look at. Might not have a hit on it, but maybe a whole column like 5 to 9 or 5 to 10 with walks. Oh, I got to dig. This is too much fun. Let's go look at the... hey, it's the last time we're going to look at Ron Swoboda for like 100 years. Let's look at the 73 splits for Swoboda with that 116 average. I'm just too curious about this stuff. 0 for 4 against the righties. That helps a little. That makes him a 128 hitter with a 209 on base. The 4 walks are all against the lefties, but yeah, it's still not going to be a handsome enough card to look at for Strat-O-Matic. I can understand that. Okay, well, there we go. We have 4 hitters evaluated, and we have to do 4 pitchers. The goal is to get 4 guys you want to keep, 2 guys you want to waive, 2 guys you want to retire. If it doesn't work out mathematically, that's fine. We have all off season to make trades for that to happen. So we'll begin with the next and first pitcher is going to be Mike Kekich. So we just got out of this great year in 72 for him. Fritz Peterson's off the Yankees, so I don't know where the wives are hanging out and so forth. But anyway, Kekich and their little families there, Peterson and Kekich. Anyway, 72, 370 ERA. Then it gets pretty bad. In 73, yep, not even worth waivers if they made the card for the Yankees or Cleveland. 75, 31 innings are not going to make that card, I don't think, with a 172 whip. Would love to retire him. It's not worth putting him. I'm just going to retire him. He's not worth a waiver claim, so we're going to retire Kekich. Sometimes you just have to fix the math. The potential problem is if the league is retiring too many guys. We want 64 players to kindly leave the league, so we're going to get about 55, 56 guys who do that, and then we're going to ask about 8, 9, 10, 11 other guys to simply leave the league, even if you played in 1973, because you're athletically falling, it's over, and we can't use you in our league. If we get too many, though, let's say there's 65, 66, 67 guys who vanish from the sport, that just means that the waiver pool will absorb it. There will be, instead of 64 guys on the waiver list, there'll be less than that. And but we definitely want to have every team keep 4 guys. So that's the pecking order of how guys, are evaluated. You have to retire a guy if he doesn't exist, but you could end up keeping lousy guys because of that. So that's something to consider for a league. In this particular process, we are way too early to forecast that, but historically I've never had an issue in doing this carryover league for about 20, 25 years or whatever I've been doing this. And that there's always more guys I want to move off of waivers who are inferior and just send them into retirement. That's the plan. All right, next picture. A promising young Jim McAndrew was a Met. This is kind of disappointing that he just kind of falls apart a bit. 68 to 74. We'll put him on the Miracle Mets, I believe. I don't know if he pitched in the World Series or not. Did very well in 68. Okay, yeah, 21 starts in 69. Did he start one of those games? He probably did. I know Gary Gentry did with Seaver and Kuzman. 72, really nice year with the Mets. 106 whip. Really nice. But then in 73, this card exists. So he gets waivers with a 73 card. We'll just double check that by looking at the Mets. And looking for McAndrew. There he is. So he'll get waivers, and this is, like I said, one of the times you just need to make sure you don't retire all your guys. So McAndrews will be one of the weaker guys we'll find on the waiver list. Being on waivers doesn't guarantee you're going to be in our league anymore, but you'll be looked at and considered. Next guy, Luke Walker, did very well with a 72 card. I think he'll continue through 74. A lot of Lukes. A lot of Luke W's. There he is. Pirate. And he was also with the Tigers at the very end. So this card exists. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit worse. If you got an opportunistic split, basically if you throw with your left arm, you're always going to be looked at, period. I don't care if you got an ERA of 6, 7. They're going to look at you. So it's reasonable to assume this card, if it exists, will probably get drafted. And that was still with the Pirates. Luke Walker is right there. Boom, on the roster sheet. So he gets waivers. The Yankees don't need him, because the last pitcher is also left-handed, and that is Sparky Lyle, and we're going to definitely keep Sparky. So no-brainer right now. Mercer, Nettles, and Sparky Lyle are the keepers. Let's take a look at Lyle's numbers, though, because we can get a 76 card. We could go 76 Lyle and Nettles. That'd be World Series worthy, right? You get the home run leader of the American League, and you get an MVP. He wins the Cy Young in 77, though I think he's a little bit better in 76. Which is very strange. Led the league in appearances and finishing games. 60 games finished with 26 saves. But he's pretty much the same as he is in 76. About the same, really. You might even go for a 74 a year. Why not? He's got a 166 ERA in 74. And he's got a 102 whip in 73. He's all over the place with excellence. So he's a no-brainer, and he'll be with the Yankees through 78 at least. Got a good card with the Rangers in 79. Then he starts to lose a little bit. But, yeah, he is going to be kept by the Yankees. And so there they sit. The magic number is 40202. What we do is you add these numbers together, and you want 40202 because we can parse this out, and we can see the 3 keepers, the 2 waivers, and the 3 retires. So that's why we have different values in each column. This is just a summation of all this, so we can immediately see where we are as a league. If we scroll up to the counting at the top, you see that's where we are because 2 teams have been eliminated. And so far, 5 guys have been kept, 5 waived, 6 retired. So far, that's not a good. That's not good to see 6 guys retired. But you got to remember they were off of 2 bad teams. That might have something to do with it. We want to average 2 retirees per team, and we're averaging 3. So hopefully that number will start to improve as this process continues. All right, that's it. Looking at the Yankees one last time. Yep, Mercer, Nettles, Lyle, trade a bunch of guys. Any rookies coming along? Reggie, no, you're not going to get Reggie for a while. Mickey Rivers, I don't think you're going to get him anytime soon either. You can get Piniella. Piniella will help. Put him in left field, but you already got Roy White DHing. I don't know, Yankees. You'll figure it out. You're the Yankees. Thanks for checking this Eliminating the New York Yankees out. We'll see you next time.